Gary, open up your heart and let it in. Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. I'm going to start off with our Sunday funnies, because when I don't, Dave gives me the dirty look, and I've got to remember to do that. Trying to keep with my time, I was telling Natalie, just signal me when because I'm going to do a couple of things here. Just signal me. And she said, "There's a clock in the back." And I can't see the clock, but it's not big enough apparently. So this is a cute one. A woman goes into a coffee shop, and she notices there's a peel and win sticker on her coffee cup. So she peels it off, and she starts screaming, "I want a motorhome! I want a motorhome!" The waitress said, "Ma'am, the biggest prize we have here is a free lunch." But the woman keeps on screaming, "I want a motorhome! I want a motorhome! Can't you tell? Can't you hear me?" Finally, the manager comes over and says, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but you're mistaken. You could not have possibly won a motorhome because we didn't have that as a prize." The woman says, "No, it's not a mistake. I want a motorhome." And she hands the ticket to the manager and says, "Win a bagel." Is that good, Dave? Funny. Oh my goodness. So here we are again, Palm Sunday, and approaching Easter. Next week, Regina's going to speak. We're looking forward to Regina being here. Well, here today, and I have often in my pre-Unity days, I remember someone telling me about what Unity's principle was, and I had to work to get it in my head a little bit, but it's as you think, so you are. And watch out for the words you speak, because what you speak out manifests stuff, whether you like it or not, whether it's a positive or a negative thought. And I was doubtful that had any. I didn't think I was powerful enough to create situations where I could out manifest whatever I wanted in my life. I kind of thought it might have been the luck of the draw or what have you. And needless to say, I don't believe in that at all today. It's been a long time. I went to Unity in 1980, so that's quite a long time, and I still haven't got it down. I'm still working on it. And as much as I work on it, so many times I forget who I am, and I don't follow through with what I know what's best and highest for me. It's a journey for all of us, and you know, it's in some ways it's simple, but it's certainly not easy. So one thing that I loved about Unity when I got in, it gives practical application. It was called practical Christianity, and you can substitute the word spirituality if you want to, but it was practical, put to use. I like to listen to what these ministers say, these fundamentalists say when I'm driving. I'll put the radio on because I just want to hear what they have to say. And one most recently, it was a call-in questioning, and someone called in and she said, what do I have to do God's will as far as your church is concerned? And he said, "Well, you don't have to do anything. You just believe in Jesus, and that's it." She said, "That's it?" And he said, "Well, yes, that's all you have to do is give your life on the stuff." And it brought me back to remembering that, wow, I'm so glad when I first learned to finally believe in practical, because I needed to work for me. If I'm going to do something, if I'm going to dedicate my time, my effort, my energy, my monies to a spiritual journey, I need to know, I need to have some tools that know it works for me. I can't say, "Oh, everything will be fine right now, you know, just surrender to God and do the best you can, and then hope you get to heaven," or the other alternative. And that wasn't enough for me. So I liked the word practical. And so Unity has many tools, and when we use them, I remember someone recently said, I read 8 books so far on Unity, and it just isn't working for me because I still have the same problems. And it was like, well, did you do the work in the back of the book? And she honestly said, oh, I didn't get to the back of the book. But I've learned we have to use these tools and use them consistently if we're going to make them work in our lives. And what the first thing in me is you have to get to the point where you believe that you are a very special, powerful being. That you're not your body, you're not your brain, you're not all that, but you're a powerful spiritual being that has the potential to do and be and have whatever you want. And it's simple, but it's not easy. I'm going to read just a little thing here. What I like about Mom, I've got the greatest mom-in-law in the whole world and the most amazing wife. And we spend times in the mornings reading and studying, and in the evenings as well, and meditating and doing our prayer work. And so I'm into this book. If you've not heard of, I'm sure you've heard it if you've come here, The Impersonal Life. It's a profound, profound book. And I invite you to go on Amazon and order. We don't sell anything. We don't get anything from that. I'm not pushing books. But it will open your mind and heart. And even if yours is already open, it will strengthen your belief system. So I want to read about this. It says, watch the negative thoughts. Watch the negative thoughts, because that which we're creating around us. We are a spiritual being, and we have an energy field, a matrix all around, in, over, under, around, and through us. We are, if you could see us in color, and we would be, Don can do that. He can see ours. And I'm giving you the signal here. It's talking to the phone. And so to know that we are interdimensional beings. We're present and accounted for on many different levels, many different vibrations, many different out manifestations of our being. We're here and there at the same time, and that confuses you and it sounds dumb. It's okay, because I used to think the same thing. But the little thing here, it says, what is that slide? Stand guard. What's the other one there? That's it? Okay, yeah, here it is. The way you must train yourself to stand guard continually at the door of your mind and to let in no thoughts or feelings that you do not want to manifest. And here's a list. And here's what I have so much trouble with. Sometimes I get it, and I'm good for a few hours or a day or two, and then I'll slip away. But guard the door of your mind. Every negative thought and feeling of whatsoever nature, from every thought you know God would not have you think. From every doubt, every fear, every worry, anxiety, or concern of any kind. From every tendency to criticize, judge, or condemn anybody or anything or any condition. From self-pity, jealousy, envy, irritation, unkindness, anger, hatred, etc.
They have a toddler. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I'm getting these signals because I remembered it. So, if you'll keep such thoughts out of your mind, the nature that you can see that in your daily life, your higher self will work with you, and positive thoughts attract positivity, and negative thoughts, of course, attract negativity. In fact, such negative thoughts actually keep away the things you're longing to have manifest in your life. So, we saw last week, from Gregg Braden, we had a video, and we had part 1 of that, and he talked about prayer, and he reminded us that Jesus said, pray, and when you pray believing that what you ask for is already yours. That's the key. Pray believing it's already yours. And Gregg talked about he had a Native American friend who invited him up to the Four Corners, and they did prayer because they had a drought, and they were going to go up there and pray for rain. And so, long story, but to get to there, but the Native American brother said he stood in a circle and he was just quiet. And when he finished, Gregg said, "Didn't you pray for rain?" He said, "Oh yeah, but I didn't ask for rain, because you don't ask, and God is not like a Santa Claus. You ask Him, but you have to believe. And he said, what I did, I stood in a circle and I imagined it raining. I imagined the smell of the rain. No, I felt the rain. It was dry as can be, desert conditions. He said, I felt the rain. I felt myself being pelted with the rain. I felt my feet in the mud from all the rain. And it was like, I'm believing it's already here. That's my prayer. And the story goes on there. It rained for several days in a row without stopping. They even had a flood up in Taos. So that's an example. So I want to, how are we doing on time? I'm sorry we're stuck to time frame because we promised to get people in and out on time. So I want to, where's the other slide, Natalie? Spiritual law. Whatever you think in holding consciousness as being so, out-manifests itself in your body or your affairs. And so we learn to stop talking about sickness and illness and poverty and lack and fear and all of that. And in working with that process, our lives go healthier and richer in every way, health and wholeness and everything else. So I want to play this. Gregg Braden video here. And now, before we started, he's in a place. He's talking about a place in China. And what you're going to see here is this woman. I think we showed it a couple of years ago, but this woman who had a cancer of the bladder. She had a tumor in her bladder, like this, and so she submitted herself to a spiritual practice of prayer. And the people that were doing the prayer, you'll hear him say that, focused on it already being healed. Not, oh dear God, heal. It's like we see it healed. She's healed now. She's healed now. And so I'm going to, without further ado, I want to play this. It's just worth seeing.
When we have a feeling in our hearts, we're creating electrical and magnetic waves inside of our bodies that extend beyond our bodies into the world around us. And what's so interesting is the research shows that those waves extend not just 1 meter or 2 meters, many, many kilometers beyond where our heart physically resides. So right now in this room is having an effect on Italy beyond this building, beyond these walls. And you'll see this afternoon when many, many people get together with one feeling, many hearts come together and create one feeling, it can change the world, and you'll see just how much. But it's only a miracle until we understand the science. Then it's no longer a miracle, it becomes a technology, a powerful internal technology. So this film was created in a medicineless hospital in Beijing, China. Medicineless hospital. No medicine hospital. I like that hospital. This film shows a woman who has been diagnosed with a cancer in her bladder. A 3-inch diameter cancer in her bladder. And Western doctors say they can do nothing. They say, we can't help you. So she has gone to a clinic in China where they think differently and they apply the technology from the ancient wisdom that is the same as the science that we just saw. So what you will see is this. There are 3 practitioners, 3 people trained to feel just the right feeling, the precise, correct feeling in their hearts. They create the feeling as if the woman is already healed. They create the feeling as if the woman is already healed. Now, we will look inside of her body through a sonogram, through ultrasound. We can look into her body and we can watch her cancer disappear in 3 minutes in the presence of the language that heals. Does that make sense? Are you okay with that? Does that make sense? Would you like to see that? Okay. Good. So what you will see is the woman is awake. She is conscious. She has no anesthetic. She believes in the process. She believes in what is happening. And there are 3 practitioners who are trained to create the feeling in their bodies as if the woman is already healed. And then on the computer screen, we will see 2 images. One image is before the healing, and one image is actual time, real time, so we can see the healing happen. And while the healing is happening, you will hear the practitioners chant a word. And I want you to know there is no magic in the word. It could be any word. But this word is the word that they have chosen that reinforces for them, that tells them the feeling. So they agreed that this is the word that would create the feeling for them. But it could be any word. I want you to know that. So I'm explaining this now, and we'll explain it again as we go through the film.
Over 8 years, the center has successfully treated more than 180 types of illnesses, including bladder cancer.
看到了没有？就是在这个韩国三角球的左侧有好一个压湖，这么一个。大气，这边是这么一块的一面大气，这是什么？
She's awake. She's conscious. There are 3 practitioners behind her. And here is the tumor, right here. The black is the emptiness of her bladder. This is the tumor. And now they take a snapshot for reference. A snapshot now. Okay, this is the real time. So this is now reference. This is actual time. It's right there. 2 minutes, 40 seconds. 2 minutes, 40 seconds. This, on the left-hand side, is the reference tumor. On the right-hand side, the tumor is gone. In the Western way of thinking, modern science says this is a miracle because they do not understand the field that connects everything, and they do not understand the language that speaks to that field. But once we understand, that is no longer a miracle, that is a technology. You listen to the chant. Sa, 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 sa. Okay, the word that they are using, wasa, wasa, loosely translated, means already happened. It's already done. In their mind and in their heart, they're coming from the place that the healing has already happened. Not that it's going to happen, and not that it's about to happen, or that it's a long, slow happening, that it has already happened. And this is important, because the field of energy that we are about to discuss is a mirror. A mirror, it reflects our feeling of what we are experiencing in the moment. So if our belief is that our healing is about to happen, or that our perfect relationship will come to us someday, or that our abundance in the bank will happen someday, the field will keep reflecting someday, 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 because it is open-ended. There is no outcome. There is no conclusion. This is a very subtle, very powerful understanding of how this field works. This field that we're about to discuss now, the divine matrix, is a field that mirrors now, not in the future, not in the past, this moment. So what we choose to experience in our lives, we must first feel in our hearts as if it has already happened. And this is something that happens all the time in this part of the world. It's not one-time only healing. They do this all the time. But when Western scientists see this, it makes no sense, because Western science says that our beliefs and our feelings and our emotions have no effect on the world outside of our bodies. But we know that that's not true. The experiments that we showed just before the break, the 3 experiments, what they showed is that human DNA has a direct effect on our physical world. 1. Number 2, they showed that human emotion changes the DNA that is changing our physical world. And it's happening because there's a field that connects everything together. The experiments suggest that Max Planck's matrix, this matrix, is the conduit. Now, the idea that everything is connected is a very old idea. Even in science, in the late 1800s, there was a belief that there was an invisible web of energy that connects everything in the 1800s. And scientists were in a very heated debate, very controversial, as to whether or not this field exists. There was a very famous experiment that was conducted to determine if the field called the ether field actually existed. In the year 1887, the very famous Michelson-Morley experiment was designed to tell once and for all, is the field here or no? Yes or no? The field exists? It does not exist. In my opinion, it was a good experiment. However, it was poorly interpreted. For over 100 years, our science has been based in a belief that is incorrect. It's incorrect. Now, this is very interesting. 100 years later, 1986, the United States Air Force repeated that experiment. 1986, the United States Air Force replicated the Michelson-Morley experiment. They published the results in the very prestigious journal Nature, the scientific journal Nature. What they found was this. They repeated the experiment with good equipment, much better equipment. The bottom line is that the field exists. They found that the field is actually there. This is reported in August 1986, the journal Nature, volume 322. They said, the field is there. And not only is the field there, it measured precisely the way that Michelson and Morley had predicted 100 years earlier. They just didn't have the equipment to work this out. Now, why don't we know about this? This should have made the cover of every major magazine and newspaper. This should have been on CNN headline news or Sky News. But this changes everything for the scientists, because the textbooks all say the field is not there. Entire careers are based on the field not being there. And now the field is there.
So again, Jesus said, pray, and when you pray, pray believing that what you ask for is already yours. You got to feel it. You got to own it. And so he also said, physician, pick up your bed and walk. In other words, heal yourself. Stop talking about your illness. Stop the pity party. Stop all this stuff about lack and poverty and I'm not going to have enough money, because what you talk about happens to you. You're asking. Whether you pray the positive or just think negative, it's still prayer. It's still asking. So stop thinking thought. I'm talking to me. Stop talking about stuff you don't want, because what you talk about comes to you. So we're always thinking and talking about what we don't want. Oh, poor me, what if, what if, what if? You can only allow into your thoughts those things you want to create. And we're going to do some classes on that coming up. We're going to be doing more, and so many of you are way over me because I've heard your stories and you've manifested a tremendous life. You've healed your life. You've healed every cell in your body. And that's what we have to get people to understand, that God is everything. There is no spot that God is not. God is every atom, every subatomic particle, every molecule, every cell. And your entire body is made up of God's cells, trillions of cells. There's nothing else in the universe besides God. So God is everything. No spot that God is not. It took me the longest time to get that into my head, and I still slip. I still sometimes catch myself doing a pity party, or, oh, woe is me, and what are we going to do? I must stop that. So when your friends are talking about, oh, this, just tell them, stop that. Stop asking for what you don't want. Stop focusing on what you don't want. Feel it. And, oh, I have to think about that every day again. So it's practical Christianity or practical spirituality. And so anyway, and there was a succeeding video up here, and somebody was asking Greg, he said, well, does that mean we have to have 3 or 4 healers around us and all this? No, you can do it all by yourself if you're strong enough. It's just that when you get together and you pray with other people, where 2 or more are gathered in His name, in God's name, you bring about this healing. So I encourage you to open your hearts and minds to us as we're talking about, but please don't dwell upon your pity party, because we're going to tell you to stop it. Just stop it. Pick up your bed and walk. And again, I have to look into my eyes every day when I'm in the mirror and say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And part of me says, oh, the hell you do. Then I wait a minute. So they're going to come. And so we take charge of our lives. And that's what we do in unity. God bless all of you.
let's take this into a time of meditation. So I invite you to prepare. And how do we do that? Oh, just inviting our bodies to a deeper state of relaxation. Maybe taking a few deep breaths if that's comfortable for you. And we are simply opening ourselves to that field of consciousness that is pure potential, pure light and pure love. Let's breathe together, knowing our oneness, knowing that presence in all things and in all people at all times. And anything that does not look or feel like God is simply forgetting. We do forget. So right now we are affirming, I remember, and it is done now. It is so. I am whole and well. Allow my words to be the meditation of your heart as we affirm and know our perfection in spirit. And as we claim and use our words in a powerful healing way for ourselves and for others, we raise the consciousness of this space, and that consciousness ripples out into our world. We are here to experience that wholeness in this world that looks certainly less than perfect and whole at times. Let us walk out into this day knowing we are walking as part of that field, that divine matrix, experiencing it, being it, living it. And so again, we breathe deeply, healing breath, releasing it as we return our attention once again to this experience here at Unity. And as we walk in to the rest of this day and this week, so it is.